Thank you so much. Well, first, to go back to the environmental issue, first world countries around the world have clean air and water because the government puts regulations in place to protect them. And I know my opponent has previously called foreign policy mind-numbing, but I would remind him that when we pulled ourselves out of the Paris Accord, we did so to the detriment of our own country. We did so to the detriment of our relationships with countries around the world. To say that the left doesn't understand growth is ridiculous because, in fact, when we invest in environmental policies, we see strong job growth. The numbers are wind jobs are up 34%. Solar-related jobs are up 25%. Investing in strong environmental policy can breed new industries growing and new jobs for people across this district. My question for you, in counter to Congressman Bratt's question, is do you want the federal government routinely putting debt on the backs of your children and grandchildren, as they did with the tax bill in 2017 that added $1.9 trillion to the deficit, a debt that is continuing to grow, the $1.9 trillion to the deficit? When we look at who holds our debt, the largest holder of U.S. debt is China. As a former CIA officer, I have to ring the alarms that that is detrimental to our national security. And when we are talking about what it is that I am for, I have said time and time again that I do not support Bernie Sanders' plan. I support a public option plan. In fact, my dear primary opponent is sitting in the office, and this was the one thing we disagreed on. And so I question again whether Congressman Bratt knows which Democrat, in fact, he's running against. Because I am not the Democrat who supported single payer in the primary. I am not Nancy Pelosi, and I am not President Barack Obama. I am a woman who grew up in Henrico County, who grew up in this community, who was taught service, hard work, and a commitment to the belief that the American people can be anything, and we will lead the way in this world. And that's who I am. I returned home 4 years ago because I wanted to get my kids closer to my parents, closer to my in-laws, closer to my family. And I am committed to this community. I am committed to making it stronger. And I am committed to policies that make sense and that are fiscally responsible, because to me it is absolutely hypocritical that we would have someone stand on stage, talk about fiscal responsibility after adding $1.9 trillion to the deficit, after voting against hurricane relief, after voting against the omnibus bill, after voting against budget after budget because he didn't want to add to the deficit. However, when it came time to give $42 billion in tax breaks to pharmaceutical companies, there he was. I want to serve this community. It's the community that made me who I am, and I ask for your vote on November the 6th. Abigail Spanberger is my name.